The entire country's eyes currently focused on Bangalore. Once a safe pensioner's paradise, now suddenly a massive spurt in rape, in horrendous crimes against women and against children. Joining us now, the man responsible for the safety and security of the people of Bangalore, the new commissioner of the city, Mr. M.N. Reddi. Thank you very much, sir, for speaking to us on Headlines today. It's just been 3 days for you, but 3 very hectic days when everyone's been wondering what's going wrong in Bangalore, why can't the police get on top of it, why has the response been so apathetic and so slow? Lots of questions being asked of your force, Mr. Reddi.
I understand lots of questions are there in the minds of people, but we do have the answers.
You're saying you have the answers. I want to begin by asking you about something that parents told us when we did a special broadcast last evening, that the child who's the victim in this case was taken by your police force to the site where the crime happened. Now, if you look at mental health hospitals putting out reports saying that's the last thing police force should be doing to the child, making that child revisit the trauma. Why is the police doing this, sir?
Well, I cannot really get into the details of the investigation, but I am sure that they have not violated any of the procedures that are laid down in respect of investigation of cases of this nature. Well, if there are any aberrations, that can always be taken care of. But I believe that the very minimal necessary information that is very crucial for kickstarting the investigation must have been collected.
You're saying that basic information has been collected. You've arrested also the chairperson of the school where this gruesome rape happened. Under what provisions of the law has the chairperson been arrested? What's the case that you're building against him?
Now, prima facie, it appears to us that there has been destruction of evidence. There has been or attempt to destroy evidence. There has been the act called the POCSO Act, Section 21, where it's incumbent on a person in charge of an institution to make sure that the evidence that is necessary to be protected is protected, and that has been violated evidently. And also there is information to us that Section 23 of the Juvenile Justice Act, which enjoins upon the management of an institution manning children and minors in an institution to take care of their safety and to make sure that they are not exposed to unsafe circumstances, has also been violated. So under these 3 sections of law, this gentleman called Kerawala has been, Rustam Kerawala has been arrested, and investigation and interrogation.
So you are prosecuting the school management. Do you believe there's a case for the school to be shut down?
I don't believe there's a case for shutting down the school. I visited the school yesterday. The first thing I did after taking charge, and I met with the parents, I met with some of the members of the management, and I believe that the situation is not at all so alarming as it possibly could be made out, and except that there is a sense of a certain amount of insecurity in the minds of the parents and a certain amount of anxiety as to what is all this about, which is what we are trying to resolve to them. To the extent that we can reveal details of investigation, we have revealed to them. To the extent we couldn't, we haven't. But we are interested in promoting, making sure that the parents feel secure and send their children back to the school, but after certain basic measures that we are requesting are put in place.
Questions are being asked why the second accused in this case hasn't yet been arrested by the police.
It's purely in the realm of investigation, and arrest or apprehending an accused at a particular point in time is exclusively left to the discretion and good sense of the investigating officer. And this investigation is being handled by a senior level officer of the rank of Deputy Commissioner of Police of Crime in charge of Bangalore City. He's personally on the job. There's a whole team working on it, and all that I can say is that Bangalore City Police is an efficient police, and it will crack the case, it will bring the culprits to justice.
Sir, this case has shaken the confidence of parents like never before. As the man who's responsible for the safety of our children, what do you, Commissioner, intend to do to put in place systems and processes to ensure that what Munna or Mustafa did doesn't get repeated?
Yeah, there is a whole lot of initiatives that need to be taken. I believe that it has to be done in collaboration with the departments of education, child welfare, etc. And the government at the highest level are seized of the matter, and they have already, I think, prepared a whole set of draft guidelines to be issued to the various schools and education institutions to implement those infrastructural, systemic, process-related kind of...
Like what? Give me specifics.
For example, in terms of physical security, segregation of the visitors, making sure that the visitors are identified and let in, making sure that the background checks are completely done before anybody is recruited into the teaching or non-teaching faculty of the school, and a whole lot of other measures that need to be taken to ensure that children and minors are not exposed to risky circumstances.
Do you believe that the time has come to make background checks compulsory? Every employee who is hired by a school...
I believe so, that background checks are definitely mandatory. They should be made mandatory, and police checks should be done.
Even if you look at the current POXCO guidelines, a law of parliament, several preventive steps and guidelines on reporting such crimes exist. They were violated in this case. Now, how do you ensure that law which exists is followed? Because school managements are clearly worried about their brand, their reputation, their image in the outside world, and therefore would like to brush such cases under the carpet.
I agree with you that there is a contradiction in the work that the schools do in terms of ensuring that their brand image is protected, and the requirement of law that they need to report to the police at the earliest about any of such incidents. But I believe the latter should prevail in any unfortunate incident. But I would say I would rather focus on making sure that there is a continuous interaction between the representatives of the schools and the police of that area, and also the education department people, by way of some kind of an organization structure which becomes a sustainable forum for people to be in touch with each other. And I feel that information must be allowed to flow constantly. These kind of things don't happen overnight. They do develop over a period of time. These tendencies probably can be spotted, but the police can't be there everywhere. So police needs to work very, very solidly with the community. So that's why...
What action, Commissioner, do you intend to take against Dean's Academy, the previous school where Mustafa worked, the school that threw Mustafa out on charges of a similar kind, yet never reported this to the police?
Well, I mean, I need to look at whether there's any limitation of time compared to the incident that took place at that time. But if there is scope for any action to be taken, police are willing to take even suo motu.
You're saying that the police is willing to take suo motu action, but this case, sir, has shaken the confidence of the ordinary Bangalorean. Now, Bangalore has, for the longest time, had the image of being a very peaceful, very safe city. Suddenly, people are feeling vulnerable. Bangalore almost seems like Delhi. Why is that happening, sir?
I would like to, I'd like to really reassure the public of the Bangalore city that there is no need for panic. It's the perception of the incidents that have taken place in quick succession probably led to this kind of an image, or this kind of a temporary perception, as I see. Bangalore is still, I would say, definitely a very safe place. It's a very cosmopolitan place. It's a very lively place, and you can walk around the streets and feel it for yourself. So it's not as though in Bangalore there's an impending danger around the corner everywhere. It's not like that. However, these systemic improvements need to be done not only in Bangalore, I believe in every other city, which are applicable equally to every other context. That we need to take care, and we will definitely do some amount of what kind of vulnerability exists across the sections, across the context, in the urban context in Bangalore, and come up with definitely a comprehensive plan at the level of government to implement these measures so that we can...
No, there seems to be something wrong with the attitude of the police force also, and I say this because when we were at Mount Carmel College yesterday, the young girls told us that when they went to the police to tell them that they wanted to hold a silent protest, the person on the other side of the desk, who's the SHO of that police station, said, "Why are you doing this? What will this change? The protest will achieve nothing. Why are you bothering to protest at all?" This is what the SHO, your SHO, told these young girls. They were very disillusioned with this, sir.
Well, I will go and talk to them to ensure that their disillusionment is gone for good. Rest assured that we have made up of 13,000 people in this particular force in Bangalore city, and about almost 100,000 in the state of Karnataka. and or maybe about 1 million and odd in the country, in our country. There are various levels of operatives at the police station level. There is always a possibility that somebody might have expressed a view, but it is not correct. I would say that the protests are fundamental right. We must encourage the protests in a democratic country, and Mount Carmel College girls going on protest is absolutely, it's not the first time they've gone on protest. I mean, Mount Carmelites have gone on protest a number of times on a number of issues, and it has never been an environment in Bangalore that police would hinder someone from exercising the democracy.
Now, one of the things that former police officers are saying is because you're short of staff, there is not enough time to send your police personnel for refresher training. For example, this whole act of police officers taking a child back to the site of crime, when child psychologists say it's the worst thing that should happen to that child, to be made to revisit their trauma. Why is something like this happening, Commissioner?
Well, I think there is always definite scope, particularly in government organizations where the human resource development is not really the top priority. And as you said, there is definitely serious deficit in terms of serious demand for a higher number of hands, but we can never have enough people. So I have spoken to my officers and I have told them that we have got to move on with the people we have and the resources we have. We have to take the community along, most importantly, because that is where the resources will come to us, unlimitedly. There is any number of people who have called me and said, we are ready to work with you. We want to form these citizens committees in various areas in Bangalore. It's a very conscious population, discerning people that exist here, and we are going to work with them. We are having meetings with the BPAC, with Kiran Mazumdar Shah this evening, and I will work, this police force will work with the industry, with the civil society at large, to make sure that Bangalore regains what it's lost.
You've just been in this job for 3 days, in 3 very hectic, busy days, and everyone's attention has been focused on you, Commissioner. Do you believe acts such as transferring a commissioner when a gruesome crime of this nature happens shakes the confidence of the police force? Because he, for example, was just doing his job. A crime happened under his watch. Now, just to deflect the anger of the public, the state machinery transfers the commissioner. Is that the right thing to do, you think?
Transfer and promotions and moving out of posts and coming into other posts is extremely routine for the police officers. And as far as the suitability of timing, etc., I am not competent to answer this question. But all that I can say is that there is always a continuity. We slide into our positions immediately, and police force is a continuing phenomenon, and really there could be some impact, but all that I can say is that we adjust quickly. Police forces have a tremendous amount of ability to adapt to new situations because they continuously work in dynamic conditions. So I have already met with my officers at length yesterday, and I get a feel that I think we're all on the job.
Before I end, sir, what do you wish to tell the people of Bangalore, whose safety you're responsible for, whose faith in the force, whose faith in society around them, and whose faith in this crime leading to change seems to be diminishing and dwindling? As the man responsible for their safety, what do you wish to tell them, sir?
I would like to say that in a large city like Bangalore, with almost a crore of population, including the floating population, certain number of incidents happening is not abnormal. So all that I can say is that these are the incidents which are unfortunate, and they really hurt the sentiment or the conscience of the society, and it hurts us and it really makes us even scared. I understand. All that I can say is that as a man in charge of running the law and order situation in the state, in the city of Bangalore, I am confident. I have my fingers on the pulse, and I see that there is no such reason for panic. So I want the Bangaloreans to live their life as usual, normally. There's absolutely nothing to worry. The force you have in Bangalore is a very competent force, and it will investigate these cases and it will finalize them. Thirdly, we will, good or bad, having seen this unfortunate incident, it will spur us to move on a different plane altogether in terms of engaging the community at large.
Do you believe that this should be made a test case? An example is made of the criminals in the school management to ensure that a message goes out, a message of deterrence that you cannot play around with the lives of our children.
You see, every single, in fact, the whole philosophy of punishment is partly one of deterrence. So therefore, we will not leave any stone unturned to book the concerned accused or those who are responsible under whatever action, whatever sections of law that are necessary to be booked, whatever is the stringency that is required to be implemented in this, we will do that. And we will, I'd like to reassure Bangaloreans that the professional job of the policing will be done. And I take this opportunity to say a couple of other things. I have told the Bangalore City Police, my force, that we have got to get back to basics. Not that they were not involved in it, or they were not keen on it, or they were not focused on it, but that there is a general tendency to, skim over the basics and then move on to various other related things. We've got to get back to the basics of identifying antisocial elements, goondas, rowdies, and keep strong control over them. Use all the methods that are necessary and all the powers that we have under the CRPC, under the KP Act, under the Gunda Act, and we will do it in the coming days. And that will spread a message amongst if I can use the word community of people who indulge or who have proclivity to indulge in such offences,
okay,
that police are after you and police are watching you, and we will not let them go scot-free.
Well, as of now, the confidence of the community is shaken. You're promising to take strong deterrent action. Your actions or lack thereof will impact how the people of Bangalore perceive the police force. We wish you all the best, Commissioner, for speaking to us in Headlines today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wish you the best.